Welcome to Flash Video Basics Part 8. Today I'm going to show you how to make a mute button and just show you basically how to be able to control the sound of your external FLV file. Okay, so for the interest of time, I've just gone ahead and made a simple movie clip of this little audio symbol, and it's just using the capital X in WebDings will give you this little symbol. So as you can see, I've created this movie clip and give it an instance name of mute. I'll just go in and show you what that looks like. Okay, so basically what I have is 4 different states. One is for the regular when the audio is on, and then its accompanying rollover state, and then a graphic showing that the audio is muted, and again with its rollover state. So let me just show you what those graphics look like. There's the regular one, and for the over it's just white like the other buttons. For the mute, you can see I just drew a line through it, which is common on video players. Of course, you can get fancier if you want. And then just its accompanying overstate. So I just have these on 4 keyframes, and I gave them frame labels: on over, mute, and mute over. And you got to remember to put a stop action on that first keyframe, because if you don't, as soon as the movie plays, this thing is just going to be continuously looping through, which is probably not the effect you're looking for. So now we can go to the root timeline, and I'll show you how to write that action script. Okay, so like always, highlight the first keyframe in the actions layer and come down, open the actions panel. So I'm going to be putting all the code at the very bottom of our code block. Okay, whoops. Alright, so the code that you need to write to be able to control the audio of an FLV unfortunately doesn't really make any sense, because best case scenario, Macromedia would have put something in the NetStream to be able to mute the audio, change the volume, but unfortunately they didn't. So you kind of have to take this convoluted trip, which we're going to take right now. So the first thing you have to do is create an empty movie clip, and we're going to use that to strip the sound from the NetStream. Okay, that's step 1. So let's do that. I'm going to say root.create empty movie clip. You need to give it an instance name, so I'm just going to call it vSound. And then you have to give it the depth, which is the stacking order of movie clips. And the easiest way to do that is _root.get next highest depth. Okay, so we created that empty movie clip now. Now we need to attach the audio coming through the NetStream to this movie clip, and to do that we use the attach audio method. So I'm going to say vSound.attach audio, and just give it the NetStream. So basically we're taking the audio coming through the NetStream on our FLV and we're diverting it to this movie clip. Okay, that's step 1. Now you can't control the audio unless you assign it to a sound object. So that's the next step we need to do. So I'm just going to create a new sound object. I'm going to say var so. I'm going to strict data type it to sound is equal to new sound. And to the constructor here, we need to give it the target of what audio we want to be controlling. And that's the audio that's in vSound. So just pass it that movie clip that you just created. So I'm going to say vSound. Okay, get some lines here. Okay, so now basically what's happened here, that audio is coming through the NetStream. We created this empty movie clip and we diverted the audio from the NetStream to it. Now we created a new sound object that's looking at that sound on this movie clip. It's just as simple as that. Now we can control the audio, and I'll show you how to do that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to set the volume to 100. So I'm just going to say so.set volume and give it 100. The set volume method expects a number between 0 and 100, which basically represents the percentage of the volume. Okay, so now we have that. I can write the code for our mute button. First thing I'm going to write is I'm going to write the on rollover state. So I'm going to say mute.onRollover is equal to function. Okay, now the first thing I want to do is I need to determine whether the audio is currently muted or not, because I need to know which of those rollover states to switch to. So I'm going to use the get volume method to do that. So I'm going to say if so dot get volume, okay, which returns a number between 0 and 100 representing the current volume. So if that is equal to 100, then I know right now that it's obviously not muted. So I want to say this dot go to and stop on over. It's basically the state where the audio is on and I'm rolling over it. Okay. Now I'm just going to say else, because else means basically that it's not at 100 and I know it's going to be at 0. So now I need to show the rollover for the mute button. So I'm going to say this dot go to and stop mute over. Okay, and now I can close this up. Okay, now the on roll out obviously is going to be very similar. So I'm just going to copy this whole code block just to save time. Okay, now I just need to change this to on roll out instead of over. And I can keep this the same. If get volume equals 100, that basically means that the audio is not muted. So I just want it to go back to on. If it is muted and I roll off, I just want to go back to regular mute, the regular mute state. Okay, so I have all my on rollovers set up now. Now the last thing I need to set up is the on release. And again, it's just to save some typing. I'm going to copy and paste that. Okay, now I need to rename this to release. Okay, so I can use this same if statement. If get volume returns 100, which means it's on, basically now I need to mute the audio. So I'm going to say so dot set, or is it set volume, and I'm going to give it 0, which basically is 0%, or basically it's muted. Now as soon as I press on this, I want the button state to change to show that it's muted, but that's not going to happen until I roll out up here. So basically I want to do that now. So let me just copy one of these again to save time. So when I mute it, I set the volume to 0 to mute it. Then I change the label right away to go to the mute over state, because I'm currently obviously I am rolling over because I'm releasing. You have to be over it to release it. Okay, now for the else statement, I just need to put so dot set volume to 100, because I know if it comes into this else statement that the get volume is not equal to 100, which means it's at 0. So now I want to unmute this by setting the volume to 100, and I want to change that state to on over. Okay, so that's basically all there is to it. The actual code, once you have it, the audio in the sound object, is relatively straightforward. The only code that really doesn't make sense, and it's just one of those, another thing in Flash where you just kind of have to memorize the process. If you sit and try to make sense out of it, there really is no sense to make out of it. So create that empty movie clip, strip the audio from the net stream and attach it to that movie clip, then create a sound object that's looking at that sound in this movie clip. Then you can use all of the methods and properties of the sound object: set volume, get volume. You can even pan the audio from the left channel to the right, which can produce some pretty interesting effects. But this is basically all we need for our mute button. So let's go out and test this and see if it works. Okay, so here we are, and see, here's our mute button. When I roll over it, I get that rollover state, and when I click, you can see the audio mutes itself, and we've got our mute rollover state. So it's just a simple example, and of course you can use the knowledge you've gained on doing this scrubber to maybe doing a volume scrubber if you feel like it. But I think this is basically the last tutorial in the video basics series, only because I think we're getting beyond the basics now. So I think the next set of video tutorials will get into more advanced topics, and maybe building a different player, maybe getting outside the rectangle a little bit and doing something a bit different. So thanks for watching.